The government and the opposition are at loggerheads after the 2G auction raked in just a little over 9,400 crore rupees, a far cry from the 1.76 lakh crore revenue loss projection by the CAG due to the non-auction of 2G spectrum earlier. Now, while the government attacked the CAG saying the poor response shows that the 1.76 lakh crore scam was just a myth, the BJP is asking why is the government so happy with the revenue loss?
That policy is best left to the government. If there is any wrongdoing in implementation of policy, certainly courts should intervene. But if you bind down the government to a particular prescription, the results can be very negative. You cannot extrapolate figures and sensationalize them and destroy the hen that laid the golden egg of 3G. What use is it for government to get revenues and for the consumer not to be empowered? Revenue by itself cannot be the sole criteria for deciding on a particular policy prescription. And if you bandy about figures of this nature, 1,76,000 crores, where are those 1,76,000 crores?
Surprisingly, this is the first government which seems to be celebrating the failure of the auction. All its ministers, spokesmen seem to be extremely delighted and happy that the state revenue has suffered, the consequences of which are going to be that fiscal deficit will widen and increase, further putting the economy under pressure. Now, this government has lost its sense of fairness, that its ministers should be celebrating the failure of the 2G auction is a glaring example before the auction as to how irresponsible this government really has become.
Congress party is wholly and solely responsible for all the scams and scandals that have taken place in the country, whether it is 2G spectrum allocation, whether it is allocation of 142 coal blocks, whether it is Commonwealth Games, whether it is others, whether it is export-import scam. In all scandals that have taken place, they have all taken place in the regime of the Congress party.
तो बेहतर यही होगा सरकार से हमारा ये कहना है कि वो रुके कुछ दिन बाकी सर्कल्स की ऑक्शन करने से, वो रुक कर और ये डेटा जब एक्सपांड होने की जब सूचना जो जरूर मतलब पता ही चलेगा उस समय जो है इसको ऑक्शन करें ताकि उस मार्केट को आप जो है टैप कर सकते हैं। लेकिन ये आज कहना कि ये साबित करता है कि सरकार की बात सही है कि कोई घोटाला नहीं हुआ, कोई नुकसान नहीं हुआ देश के लिए, ये दुष्प्रचार है।